Hello everyone, I'm Carthu and welcome back to the dojo. It finally happened. Episode 49 of My Hero Academia aired, and oh boy was it a big one. We got All Might versus All for One, the final clash of two great powers, great enemies. The man who injured All Might and put him in the state he's in now. The man who killed All Might's mentor, the previous owner of One for All. The man who did everything he could to get under the skin of the symbol of peace to destroy the world and society of peace that All Might sought to create. This man is All for One, and my goodness, did Studio Bones do an amazing job displaying that fight. The music placement was excellent, it was emotionally impactful, and every beat hit the exact way it was meant to. Not a single moment was missed, nothing was left out. But it does raise questions. When you see two powerhouses, the number one hero, the number one villain, going at it, destroying a city district with ease, potentially threatening the entire city in some of the manga scans. What does that say about the power these two would have had in their prime, in their first battle? Let's discuss the power of Prime All Might. To start, we have to go over a few basic premises. The first being that All Might says it's a flicker of his power left. All for One even mentions this. It's just a flicker of One for All that's left inside All Might at the point when they're fighting each other. Just a flicker. It should be the least that he's ever had in terms of power in the series, as far as we know. So, then we go back to Nomu. The first Nomu, the one at USJ, the time when we saw All Might do that amazing, punching sequence, going beyond his limits, taking out this crazy creature that was meant to defeat him. All Might says it would have taken him 5 punches in his prime easy to defeat that Nomu, but this time it took over 300. So let's put that at 300 for the sake of argument. This would make All Might, in his prime, at least 60 times that of his current power, or at least the power he had at USJ. An even better way to represent this is 1.67% of his prime power. Now, a lot of you may be asking, isn't Midoriya using 5% of One for All's power? Isn't he using more than All Might? Why did his attack have no effect on the Nomu when he was using almost 5 times as much power as All Might had? That's a discussion for a different video. Just know when Deku says he's using 5% and All Might's using 1%, those percentages are off of different 100s, if that makes sense, and that's even more visible with the 1,000,000% smash or the 100% smashes that Deku has done in the past, where they don't actually seem to do as much as a weakened All Might can do in a fight like this. But again, that's a discussion for another video. Let's keep going. So in both the anime and the manga, both All Might and All for One are shown to be casual building level, with the capability of multi-building / city district level thrown in there. This All Might is stated to have a flicker of his power left, implying he's even weaker than the previously mentioned Nomu fight at USJ, like I said earlier. So, we have to find the most impressive feat here, and then go upwards from that. The most impressive feat during this final clash, this ultimate battle, is definitely the tornado that All Might creates when he uses the United States of Smash. Now, this is a tornado that's powerful enough to launch large pieces of buildings around, so it's pretty insane. Tornadoes are the most energy-dense force of nature on the planet. On average, they contain about 10,000 kilowatt-hours in energy, or 36 billion joules. Punching power, when it comes to joules, can range from less than 100 to even 1,000 joules if you're like a professional boxer or something. So All Might's United States of Smash was 36 million times stronger than a punch from a boxer. Another way to look at this is that All Might's punch generated the same amount of energy as 9 tons of TNT. Remember, this is a weakened All Might, and even weaker than the one at USJ. So, the low ball would be 60 times stronger than this, and the high ball could probably be around 100 times. I don't think you'd go further than that. So Prime All Might could produce the same force as 540 to 900 tons of TNT with his strongest attack. Now, that doesn't actually reach that big of an area. It's not terribly large in terms of scale or attack potency, and actually the attack potency that he's outputting there looks a lot more devastating than what's actually being shown in the calculations here. So let's go a step further and go to an even bigger high ball. There are several characters stating that this fight between All For One and All Might destroy the entire city. So that implies that both of them are half city level. But I've heard people use this to confirm that All Might is city level even when weakened. That's fine, I'm highballing his attack potency, let's do it like that. So, All Might is city level, but which city? Specifically the city they're in, which is Yokohama, which has an area of 169 square miles. So destruction of a city that size, scaled up by 60 to 100 times, as we mentioned earlier, would put an extremely highballed Prime All Might at 10,140 to 16,900 square miles of destructive capability. In terms of just raw size, that's like destroying one of the smaller states in the United States, or destroying New York City 30 to 60 times over. Imagine having 30 to 60 New York cities just all next to each other, and you could just punch them away. Now, before we finish up here, I'd actually like to go over All Might's speed, as I thought it was interesting to see the quote used again that was used in the manga, where All For One says All Might's gotten slower, it's only 5 kilometers from the other hideout, and you took 30 seconds since the Nomus were teleported over there. Well, we know that All Might didn't just book it straight to the warehouse to go fight All For One or fix this problem, so he actually spent a good amount of time talking and fighting and just generally not moving. We'll take 15 seconds off of that 30 seconds to give it a fair estimate of his speed. So, 5 kilometers in 15 seconds, that would put All Might's travel speed at 1/3 of a kilometer per second. Then, we have to scale it up. 60 to 100 times, of course, the same boost that we've been using this whole time, and we get about 20 to 33 kilometers per second. Doesn't sound like much when it's in seconds, but then you boost it up to per hour, and that is 72,000 to 118,800 kilometers per hour. Simply put, the distance sound travels in an hour, All Might in his prime could travel in a minute. Mach 60 to Mach 95. He is going somewhere in the realm of Mach 60 to Mach 95. 95 times the speed of sound, potentially. Remember, this character can't fly. He runs, he jumps, he leaps. That's how he moves. So he's jumping, leaping, running at 95 times or 60 times the speed of sound. It's an incredibly fast speed, especially comparatively to his destructive capabilities. It's pretty nice, actually. I think they're pretty balanced with each other, the distance he can cross and the distance he can destroy. Perhaps he can destroy a city, perhaps he could destroy just a district of a city, perhaps he could even destroy a small state. Depends on how your interpretation of this scene goes. But the speed seems a bit more concrete. He could definitely go those far distances very, very quickly. I really did enjoy that fight, and that episode was probably one of the best, if not the best, in the series so far. Very excited to see the rest of the season. It's going to be so good. And hopefully we get one more fight, because it's looking like we might be able to squeeze it in before the end. A very famous fight from the manga. But that's it for me, guys. Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want more anime videos. Ding that bell to make sure you get notified. Check out the Patreon if you're interested. And I've never really mentioned it in a video, but we do have a Discord. please join the Discord and have some discourse with me and the other people in it. We have some other YouTubers in the Discord as well. You could ask any of us questions and such. We're all pretty willing to answer. We're all very nice people. That being said, video outro.